this. Okay, great. Okay, so next thing, are both of you guys on Google Classroom? I'm assuming yes. Okay, guys, you have to like actually respond because I actually need your I need you guys to like actually log on to something this time, so I have to make sure it works. So can you guys just like put in the chat if you're on Google Classroom? Okay, thank you, Emma. What about you, CJ? Okay, cool. So I want you guys to go to a website, oh my God, a website called code.org, just like that. And then when you're there, well, I'm already logged in, but when you're there, just go to like where it says login and then use the same email as you used for your Google Classroom in the login thing. Like select login with email and then put your email that you use for Google Classroom and then you should be in my like classroom thing. So let me know once you get there. Or if you have any questions. Yeah, it's code.org. It should look, it's probably different since I'm a teacher on here, but looks something like this. So just let me know once you guys have logged in. Um, okay, great. So Emma, do you see that you're part of like a classroom kind of thing? Like, do you have a course called Computer Science Principles on there? Okay, great. CJ, do you also have that or do you need like help? No, you should just be able to log in with your Google account and this should show up. Okay, great. Now that we have that, can you guys click on your computer science principles course? Just like view course. And I should have assigned unit 3 to you. So just go to unit 3. Oh, okay. Wait, Emma, you were able to find the class, right? So, can you just tell CJ like where on the screen you see it? Because I don't know what it looks like for students. Also, CJ, make sure you might be already using the same email as your Google Classroom one, but just make sure that it's the same one because it might not be showing up because of that. Okay, let us know if you figured it out, CJ. Okay, yeah. So just make sure you're using the same account and then you should be able to see it. While we're waiting though, I'm just gonna explain like what we're gonna do with this. So once you click on the course, you should see this, and I should have assigned you guys Unit 3, so just click to go to Unit. Um, okay. Just let me know once you figure it out, just so I know that like you're ready, and you have it all done. Okay. So go to Unit 3 and then just stop there because I'm gonna explain some stuff. Okay. So basically what we're gonna do the next two classes is create a very, very simple app using code.org software. And this is similar to this is a very simplified version of what you'll be doing for something called the create performance task for the if you're taking the CSP exam. So you're gonna have to take like a multiple choice written test and then also create some sort of app. And then you're gonna have to answer a few like short answer questions. But all we're gonna do in this class is make like a very simple app. So um this is the rubric for how they're gonna grade it. It's out of 6 points. There's no like half points or anything, so you either get the point or you don't. Um, most of these scoring things are based off of your written responses. But basically, I'll just sum this up. You're gonna have to submit a video showing the functionality of your app, and then you have like six, maybe, I think, written responses asking you about like the inputs and outputs of the app, the functionality, um, and that sort of stuff. Okay. So, before we start actually making stuff, I'm gonna explain some like basic information. Um, so some vocab stuff you should know. User interface. User interface. I don't know why I wrote that twice. That's weird. Okay. Is the inputs and outputs that allow a user to interact with a piece of software. So, this includes buttons, menus, images, text, and graphics. So on here, like this bird quiz thing, the begin button would be part of the user interface. This image would be on the user interface. It's basically anything that you can see. Okay, and then input, like I was saying before, is just data that's sent to a computer for processing, and it could come in a variety of forms such as tactile interaction, audio, visuals, or text. So input is what you, the user of an app, is going to give an app. So for example, the input would be me pressing the begin button, and the output is the app showing this question, this new screen. The input would be me clicking ostrich, and the output is this new screen. The input's me clicking eagle, and the output is this you lose screen. So you see the input is just whatever the user does to interact with the app, so that there's always an output to the input. So the output is any data that's sent from a program to a device. So it could come in a variety of forms, such as tactile interaction, video, visuals, or text. So the output, like I was saying before, is just the result of the input. It's what the program produces as a result of what the user gives it. Next, an event is associated with an action and supplies input data to a program. This can be generated when a key is pressed, a mouse is clicked, a program is started, or any other defined action that affects the flow of execution. So an event is just an action, kind of like an input that the user does that interacts with the program. So so an example of that would be, let's say, hit a button here. It's gonna say begin. So in the code, there's gonna be this block on event. So on the event that I click the begin button, so I can make something happen. I can make the screen change or whatever. So the event is just something that happens, and you can program it so that something happens as a result of something that you do. Event-driven programming is some program statements run when they're triggered by an event, like a mouse click or a key press. So this is like what I was describing before, where the program depends on events that happen. So whether you click a thing or not, whether you press a certain key or whatever. A comment is a form of program documentation written into program to be read by people and often does not affect, which does not affect how a program runs. So if I had all this code here and I wanted to just document it for myself or explain it for, let's say I was collaborating with another person, you can use a comment, which is just this like 2 slashes. If you want to do it in text mode, it's just 2 forward slashes. And then whatever you want to write, like this code does this when I click the button. It doesn't affect how the code runs at all. It's just there to help you. Hi, debugging is finding and fixing problems within an algorithm or program. So that's pretty self-explanatory. You're just fixing things. Something goes wrong and you figure out where it is. Okay. Tips: test your code regularly as you make it. Don't like do all of it at once and then test it, because then you don't know what part is wrong. If you do a little bit of code and then test that, do a little bit of code and test that, you know where it goes wrong, if that makes sense. And then another thing, document your code in your comments. So if you need me to help you, or you're collaborating with somebody else, or it's just helpful for yourself to know what each block means, what you plan on doing next, where you left off, whatever. Another tip I didn't write there is if you have a variable, let's call this variable age, it's 5, and then throughout the program it's gonna change, right? So let's say you want to make age plus 6. If you want to check the value that's in your variable throughout the program, there's this little box at the bottom right called watchers, and you could put in any variable you have, age, right? And then throughout the program it's going to display like what it is. So it was 5, now I add 6, that's 11, so it shows it's 11. So that's really helpful for debugging and stuff. Okay, next, this is a big thing that the College Board stresses in their AP CSP like curriculum, but they'll ask you a few questions on the test about like collaborating on code or collaboration in computer science or whatever. And basically main idea is that collaboration is really helpful because everybody has a different view that they bring to the table. It reduces bias in creating programs, and yeah, just like having more ideas to bounce off of is better. Okay. You can't really do that in this class because like it's all virtual, but just note that that's something that they might ask you on the exam. Okay. Now we're gonna start looking on code.org. So no, that's something that my class was saying too, I remember. They're like, oh, they want us to collaborate, so let's just collaborate on the test. But no. On the create task, everybody has their own project, but you're technically allowed to collaborate, so you can ask your classmates for help, but not on the exam. Okay, CJ, are you on code.org now? Is it working for you? Oh, are you on the email that you're on Google Classroom with? Okay. So just try to follow along, I guess, since I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so Emma, I guess this is more for you. Go to the first one, lesson 1, and then go to the first dot. So they're gonna show you a bunch of example apps just to like get you started. So just like run it and click on stuff, look around, see what happens when you do certain things, and think about how the code for this would be. So think about how like the code might say on the event that they click the Spanish button, they display this screen. On the event that they click the English button, they display this screen. On the event that you click the next button, it displays this screen. And yeah. And then they have a bunch of other ones. You could just run through them really quickly. Um, they're just like kind of examples to get you thinking about how you're going to make your app. I'll give you like um 3 minutes, I guess, to just look through a few of them. You don't have to look through all of them, but it's just to help you again. Think about the inputs and outputs as well. That might help you. Oh, I guess I should look through them for CJ. You saw this one. Okay, I think they just repeat after that. Though if you want, we can do this. This might be helpful. Yeah, I can add that email to the class, I think. Okay, I invited you. You should be able to see that in your email. Okay, so let me just make sure you're on the code.org class because sometimes it doesn't connect. Okay, let me know when you join the Google Classroom, because once you join the classroom, I have to like sync the two classes so that you show up on code.org. Okay, while we're waiting, I'm gonna move on. Okay. So the next part, which is lesson 2, is just them showing you how to use the design tab. So you can see there's a code tab and design tab. Design tab, they show you all the different things you could add, images, buttons, text inputs, drop downs, or whatever. And you could click on each thing you see on the screen and see like what it is. It's a button or whatever, and just think about what each part of the user interface is and how you can use it in your own app. So this is again just exploring. This should not take that long. I'll give you like 5 more minutes. Or maybe less, I don't know. Yeah, another thing to make sure you do when you're designing your app is that you give each of your buttons or whatever good names so that when you're referring to them or you just like see the name, you know what it is. So if automatically when you drag a button out, it's gonna say button 1, or if you put a drop down, it's gonna say drop down 1. That's not really like meaningful. Like if you saw it, you wouldn't know which one, especially if you had like multiple buttons or whatever. So just name them. Like let's say I want this button to say like go, so I would name it go button. Or if I had this button be the back button, I would make it call it the back button. You know, that's just helpful for later. Okay. CJ, are you on the classroom now? Okay. Maybe just try joining using the class code. I'll put it in the chat. Just go in Google Classroom and like add this class to your thing. Maybe that'll work better. I don't know. Oh, I could make an invite link. I should send that. If that doesn't work, try this. Okay, Emma, have you looked at all the apps and have like a good idea of what they are and stuff? Okay, cool. So now if you go on lesson 4, you could see when you're making your app, there's gonna be different screens. So this is one screen, this is another screen, this is another screen, this is another screen, right? So you want to map out, if this makes it easier for you, of course, what each screen is gonna do and what clicking on each thing is, what screen clicking on each item is going to do. So here you could see they have 6 screens, and it shows when you click the begin button, it puts you to this screen using an arrow. It shows you that. Okay. And then when you click ostrich, it puts you in this screen. This doesn't have to be perfect. Like they kind of drew all the birds out and stuff. This is just like a rough mapping of what your screens are gonna look like. And you don't have to do this many screens. Um, But having like 2 or 3 screens is probably good enough, honestly. But yeah, just have a rough plan. Okay. And then in the next tab, the second dot, you can build your screens. So this is probably the easiest and in my opinion the most fun part. They have different themes. So you can pick from those. Or you could do your own, it doesn't matter. And you're gonna, once you map everything out, you're gonna put all the elements you want on there. So let's say I want to make a quiz, like a fun quiz app, like the other one, the bird quiz. I could put a text area up here, and that's the title. So I'm gonna name it title. Let's say world's capitals around the world quiz. I'll make it look fancy. I'll do a theme. Let's do orange or citrus. Okay. You can see here, you could change the width, the height, the text color, the font, whatever. You could also just like change it manually. And like you can have a button. This is a start button. And then you click it, and then you can make different screens. So new screen, this screen can be called first question, and then you could put whatever elements you want on there. So you get the idea, right? I'm just trying to show you an example. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the code part. I'm going to explain each of these blocks. So let's start with the functions because that's the easiest. The comment function, you know what that is. I explained it. It doesn't affect your code at all. It's just something you could put in to explain anything. If that helps you, the next block I'm going to explain is console.log. It basically prints something to this console down here. So if you want to check anything through your console, you can use that. So if you want to check a variable, you can print the variable to the console. Okay. And then here you have this function that basically outputs a random number between these two numbers, including these two numbers. So in this example, it picks a random number between 1 and 10, and it includes 1 and 10. So the number can be 1 or it can be 10. Here you can set a screen. So let's say you want a new screen to appear when you click the start button. You could say on the event that the start button is clicked, you set the screen to the second screen. I should probably name the screens. Hold on. Why are they not named? First question. Intro screen. Okay. So when you press this, oops. Oh yeah, I have to change this. So when you press the start, it changes to this screen. Let me add something to that screen. So what's capital of, oops. Oh, this is ID. Okay. Question 1. What is the capital of France? And then I could have all my options down here. I'm not gonna do that yet though. I'm just gonna explain the rest of the blocks. Okay, next thing, set property. So if you want something to change when you like click something or anything like that, you can put this on here. It basically, you choose what you want to change. So let's say you want to change the title. You want to change the text color. You could pick anything to change from here, and then it'll show you your options to change it. So I want to change it red. You see how it changed red. Okay. Hide element, it hides the element ID that you put in here so that you can't see it on the screen. And also, if you guys probably won't remember everything I'm saying, but like when you hover over each block, it tells you here. So, okay, show element, it shows an element that you put in here. Stop sound, if you play a certain sound, but you want it to stop at a certain point, you put this, and then you put the sound that you want to stop playing in the URL place. Play sound, you put the URL of the sound you want to play, and then whether or not it's gonna loop, so true or false. Set image URL, so if you want to put an image somewhere throughout the program, you put the URL of the image and then the ID. Okay, set text. Where do you want to set the text? Do you want to set the text in this title box? Do you want to set it on the screen? Whatever. So you put the idea of where you want to set it and then what you want the text to say. And then on event is what we've been talking about, which is like you pick something, any element, and then you pick how you're going to interact with that element, aka what the event is, and then what happens as a result of that. Okay, does that all make sense? Okay, great. Okay, so Emma, you can start like planning out your screens and like coding and stuff. This is basically what we're gonna do next class too. So I'm just gonna be here for any questions. Once you're done, you can go to the end of this thing here and says submit your app, and then I don't have it because I'm the teacher, but press submit, and then I should be able to see it, and then I'll give you any feedback. And yeah, just due by next Tuesday, actually. And CJ, you're in the thing, right? In the Google Classroom. Okay, yeah, I have to sync you on here. So let me just add you to the code.org class. Okay, you should be on there now. And I don't know if you were listening the whole time because you're probably figuring the count thing out, but let me know if you have any questions from what I just explained. You didn't hear any of it? Oh wait, okay, you got it. Okay, great. Were you listening kind of to when I was explaining stuff? Okay, good. Of course, if you guys have any questions, okay, that's great. If you have any questions at all, you could ask me. You could email me if you have one while we're not in class. Um, but yeah, just work on your apps. Yeah, it is. It makes it super easy. Um, And this is actually, Unit 3 is actually like a really simplified version of everything that code.org actually has. There's a lot of blocks they don't let you use because it's more complex, but you can see here their full program has like a lot more. But for now, we're just gonna do those. Because again, I don't know if the classes that you have at your schools use code.org, because again, the exam is in pseudocode and you can do the create task with any program. So it always depends on the school.